Well, hello, everybody. We call this Texags Rewind. I am David Nuno. He is Braden Hard, and he plays football very...
Good.
Or hard.
You're very hard.
Yeah, you're a hard guy to stop, and you stop everybody.
Yes.
Okay, that was cheesy. I'm an old man. We're just talking things here. Braden wanted to visit Texags, so his family brought him by, so we're having some fun. You've been spending some time here at Aggieland, right?
Yes, sir. I was at the A&M game last night. First half, they weren't doing very good, but second half, felt like they're an NBA team. Like, that number 15...
Henry Coleman, yeah.
Henry Coleman, yeah. He looks like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, he had a good game. Mm-hmm. So we do this thing called the Rewind, and it's where we kind of give a little short clips of everything we had on the show today. What was your favorite part of the show?
Just listening to y'all talk about players and how they can improve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm really good at that. That's like the one thing I do well. Actually, all of my guests did it, not me. I just asked them the questions. On the show, we had OB on, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends what you think. He was great. We talked about SEC Players of the Year. We also had John Harris on, talked the NFL. He gave a great J.J. Watt story, also talked about the Aggies, Aggie basketball. We talked about that big win yesterday. And Player Spotlight with Chris Taylor. We looked at Noah Thomas, all that and more here on Texags Rewind. The best at this position, that position, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay, do your best.
Because it's off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head, yeah, I didn't warn you. I mean, I warned you a little bit, like 6 minutes ago, but that's not enough time to really get a comp. But we can talk about it out loud.
Okay.
Best running back in the SEC. I would like to say Devon Achane because of what he went up against, but I think you can absolutely go Quinshon Judkins.
I'd go Judkins.
Yeah.
Because you can't make excuses for somebody.
No,
you got to look as much as you want to. Now, if I was having to pick between the two of them for my team, all things being equal, I think Achane's better. But if I have to look at what happened this season, Judkins.
Best quarterback. Easiest question I think I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker. I voted for him for the Heisman.
Yep.
I think he should have won it. I think he got hosed. I think it was an ESPN, agenda to get Caleb Williams the Heisman. And I think there's a lot of lazy Heisman voters that are like sheep.
Best wide receiver. I'm just going to throw a name at you, Jalen Hyatt. Is that a Jalen?
Yeah.
Is it Hyatt? Yeah.
I think that's an open and shut. There's a guy in Missouri that had a big year, and I think he's transferred somewhere, and I've already forgotten where. Lovett, I think his name is, but I'd say Hyatt.
Yep. All right. We were going to continue going on, and let's see. The next question I have for you is best defensive player.
I don't like to be the guy that just parrots everything, but I don't know how you go against Anderson from Alabama.
Yep.
He still led the conference in sacks, overtook Drew Sanders, and you look at Georgia, and that's without a doubt the best defense. But it really is just this great collection of guys, but nobody has the eye-popping stats that just jumps out at you. Now, if you wanted to go for a wild card, it'd be Emmanuel Forbes, the cornerback from Mississippi State, with like 6 interceptions and a bunch of passes broken up. And he's been a thorn in the side of the Aggies. He's the guy that returned the blocked field goal for a touchdown. He had 2 years ago in 2020. He's the guy that caught the interception that ricocheted off Anais Smith's shoulder pads, and he took that for a touchdown. I mean, he's good. He's going into the NFL draft. I'm glad he's getting out of there.
Next one. Best freshman defensive player. I think it's easy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kendrick Perkins.
Harold Perkins.
Harold Perkins. I knew a Kendrick.
Kendrick Perkins.
He's the basketball guy.
Yeah,
Harold Perkins.
Yeah.
And he didn't look it against A&M.
No, but he looked it against everybody else.
But he looked it against everybody else. Yeah.
Let's talk a little playoffs. We mentioned how good of a job Georgia's done. That game against Ohio State. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a fun one to watch. It's not often that Ohio State is an underdog, but obviously against Georgia they are. Your thoughts on that one?
I think that's a tremendous football game because I think Ohio State's got a lot to prove. And, they say, bowl matchups, and I know it's a playoff, but it's, a bowl game. But, bowl styles, the styles of each team, styles make fights, and they also make bowl games. And I think this is one of those because Ohio State, its passing game is lethal. And against Michigan, they couldn't stop Michigan's running game. And because they couldn't stop Michigan's running game, they got to a point where they were predictable. Now, they were also not healthy at the running back position against Michigan. I don't know what that health will be, but if Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams are both healthy, and you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. along with Emeka Egbuka and Julian Fleming, well, you got an opportunity to really do something. But Georgia's front is going to be the best front even beyond Michigan's. And Ohio State proved it wasn't ready to really handle Michigan's front consistently. And I got a feeling with how many ever weeks did Kirby have? 5-6 weeks to prepare. He's going to have some stuff that C.J. Stroud hasn't seen on film and that C.J. Stroud may not have seen before. And I think that might end up being the difference. I think Stroud gets his. I think Stroud's going to play well. This is an opportunity for Stroud. This is the most important game for C.J. Stroud in his NFL evaluation. He's played some great games, but in the two biggest ones of his career against Michigan both times, he's sort of shrunk in the moment. Now he faces arguably the best defense in the country. All right, big fella, what you got? You want to be the number 1 overall pick? Go shred Georgia for 350 and 3 touchdowns and lead your team to a win, and you'll make everybody reconsider. So to me, this is C.J. Stroud against the coverages in front of Georgia, and it makes it an absolute blast. And again, I'm doing what everybody is going to do, and that is undersell Stetson Bennett and overlook Stetson Bennett, and that dude's just going to throw for 250, 2-3 touchdowns, probably run for 1, and lead his team to a victory. But to me, the most compelling thing and intriguing thing in this game is C.J. Stroud handling the different looks that he's going to get from the secondary, from the front of Georgia, from Kirby Smart. I think it's going to be an awesome matchup to watch.
What I was impressed by yesterday was when they fell behind, 27-12, whatever it was, they didn't panic. They just went to work, and Buzz called a timeout. They went to a full-court press, and they changed the tempo of the game. That, to me, was the most impressive part of chipping away.
Absolutely. We've talked about the fact that they haven't been able to adjust in games. They've needed a day or two to adjust and fix the problems, and the fact that they could change the tempo, change the course and the direction of the game within the game was a really good sign. I think one guy that doesn't get enough praise, and the one guy that really turned the tide yesterday is Andre Gordon. When he came in with, I think it was 8 minutes and 47 seconds or something like that left in the first half, that's when A&M went on a 16-6 run. They finished out a 16-6 run to end the half, and they brought it within, I think it was 5 points or 4 points at halftime. His play wasn't just standing in the stat sheet, but he was a leader on the court. He was a calming presence on offense. I don't even know if he took a shot in the game, but he slowed everything down. He didn't force anything. He got up in whoever was guarding the ball at the top of the key when they went into ISO, and he got up in them and he put his nose on the opponent's belly button, and he stayed there. And I thought until that point, Northwestern State was able to do whatever they wanted to do in those ISO situations and create havoc on A&M's defense. When Andre Gordon got in there and he got up in him and he shut him down a couple of times, that gave the rest of the A&M team confidence, saying, oh, wait, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to look like. And then Dexter Dennis did the same thing. And then Boots did the same thing. And so I think Andre Gordon was the catalyst to turning that whole game around.
So he only had 5 receptions, but I feel like his catches, I don't want to say memorable. Memorable is not the right word. Impactful, maybe.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, one of them being that, it was in the wet conditions and playing UMass, but I think he's one of those that just does the dirty work. He doesn't mind going in and scooping out a linebacker. He doesn't mind going down and getting on that safety that's come down into the box. So he does a lot of the dirty work. He has that big frame. I think he can add more weight and be able to be a little stronger. But some of the things that you're asking him to do, it's not so much in Evans' wheelhouse or maybe Moose's wheelhouse. I think he's that guy that can go down and create those mismatches simply because he's just bigger than a lot of defenders. And as he gets stronger, he's going to be a little more physical than those guys as well.
I think Noah's another example, and I don't mean this as a slight to Jimbo. I mean, he's got his system and his formula that works for him. But another guy that I could have seen play more that didn't, Kind of like Moose had to wait his turn, and it took an injury for Anias to come out for him to really see a boost in action. Noah's another guy who's had to wait a little bit, but when he was out there, he made plays.
Yeah, and whether it is, we get towards the end of the year is not going the way that we anticipated it, and he's getting more opportunities, or it could have been a deal. Chris Marshall was in the mix early in the season. You saw him very early in the year, and then as that suspension came and Chris didn't come back, you saw Noah get more opportunities. But I think that he did a great job of having himself prepared, being ready for the moment. And then when he got his opportunity, it didn't seem like the moment was too big. So I'm excited to see what he comes with, this second year, another year in the system, another year to be able to get stronger and develop. And I anticipate he's a huge contributor for the Aggies going into 23.
All right, it's that time of the show where we got to do what you do after watching a YouTube video. What are you supposed to do?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Share. Tell your friends about it. Are you gonna
bell? You gotta click that bell.
See, he knows what's up. You gonna watch this video later?
Yes.
You gonna share it with your friends?
Probably.
They gonna think you're cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some.
If they're A&M fans.
Well, if they're not, you know what? They need to watch anyway. We need those numbers up there. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. See you on Thursday.